Hey guys, um, this is my first video, but I just came across. I needed to talk about this because I just saw a video that was like talking about Godzilla 2014, and they basically there's gonna be no cuts by the way, so if I like freeze, I'm sorry. Actually, there's a pause button right here. I can figure that out. Anyways, I was watching this video on Godzilla 2014, and the person basically they liked it, but they thought a lot of things about it didn't hold up, and they had a lot of complaints. And I'm a massive Godzilla 2014 glazer. I actually think this is the best Godzilla movie that's ever come out. I know there's a Shin Godzilla people, Godzilla minus one people. To be fair to them, I haven't seen Godzilla, Shin Godzilla or minus one, which is my fault. But this movie is just my goat movie, and I don't understand why people trash it so much. And I'm here to defend this movie, okay? Because this is actually an amazing movie. I'm just gonna go through some complaints I've written down on my phone that people have said about this movie that I'm here to defend, okay? Starting off with the most complained about thing. There isn't enough Godzilla. This was one of the few things, or one of the, not few, but one of the things that I actually loved the most about this movie. Now, hear me out. When you think back to a spectacle in a movie, when you think about a spectacle in the movie, right? Your main character, the thing that's like selling the movie, that thing is often precious, okay? Right? That's the thing driving the campaign of the movie, everything. But hear me out. My one of my favorite movies that I'm probably going to talk about a lot here is The Dark Knight and the early Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Now I know what you're thinking. How the hell are you going to compare that to this movie? But there's actually a lot of comparisons you can draw, okay? One of the things that I loved about those early Batman movies, the Christopher Nolan ones, was that you could count on your fingers the amount of scenes that Batman is actually in the movie. Let's talk about The Dark Knight. If you look at the Batman 2022, Batman is in costume for like most of the movie, and Bruce Wayne is not actually in it that much, which makes the appearance of Batman, in my opinion, less surprising. Because the more times you just see him show up in his cool costume, which is supposed to be something like, oh, that's Batman's costume, the more times you see him in it, just fighting people, walking around, the less like surprising it gets after some point, right? Like if he's just Batman the whole time, is it really going to be exciting like the fifth, sixth time that he shows up looking like that? No. Maybe for some people it'll be like hype every single time, but I'm here to defend Godzilla. So no, to me it doesn't stay that exciting. I like a movie where I can count on my fingers the amount of times my like the main character, the spectacle showed up, because makes all those scenes more precious. You think about Spider-Man 2. When I think about Spider-Man 2, the scenes where I can think of Spider-Man showing up are, let's see, the intro when he's swinging with the pizza. This is just off the top of my head. The fight at the bank with Doc Ock, the train fight with Doc Ock, and then the final showdown with Doc Ock. Now, granted, there's a lot of tiny scenes scattered with Spider-Man throughout, but these are like the four massive like set pieces with Spider-Man. And the reason I can count them is because all four of them were so memorable to me, and that's what comes to my mind. Not like the tiny swinging scenes scattered throughout, because that's fine. If you notice, there's a lot of scenes like this in Godzilla as well, where Godzilla is just kind of there, but he's not doing Godzilla things. But it's fine because the appearance of like Spider-Man when he comes, it makes it more meaningful. When you see that suit, when you see him swinging around doing acrobatics, fighting people, it makes it all that more sick. You know what I mean? Now I know there's people are gonna be saying, "Oh, dude, there's so many more scenes with Spider-Man." Just off the top of my head, that's what I can think of. Okay, now Spider-Man feels meaningful whenever he shows up. It's like, oh my god, that's Spider-Man. As at least as a child, there was like, oh, the boring parts where it's just Peter Parker, and then oh my god, there's the Spider-Man parts, and then I could remember that as a child leaving. Because as a child, I didn't understand the human drama, but growing up, the human drama is so good as well. So I don't even mind Spider-Man not being on screen. Which is the other thing people complain about. The human drama isn't interesting. They kill off Bryan Cranston too early, right? I actually understand that point because Bryan Cranston's acting was amazing. He was driving that movie. A lot of people give Aaron Taylor Johnson like smack for being the boring military guy, but maybe it's just me. But I could get behind him, right? This guy just lost his dad, and his dad was like he thought he was going crazy. The whole world thought Bryan Cranston was crazy, but turned out he was right. So not only does his son feel so much guilt for not believing his dad, but now he's after it as well. Now he's trying to fight alongside the military to like avenge his dad almost, right? And he's also has his family that he has to get back home to. In my personal opinion, it was strong enough for me to get behind the human characters. And I like Aaron Taylor Johnson as an actor quite a bit, so it was not hard for me to like get behind the human drama in this movie. So maybe that's just a preference thing, and I know a lot of people will not get behind that. But in my opinion, it was good enough. I'm not asking for like deep character Peter Parker level arcs because we want to see the movie's called Godzilla, not like Bryan Cranston's son, right? So I understand that, but I think the human drama, in my opinion, is strong enough for me to get behind the human characters, and the actors are all likable. Elizabeth Olsen is likable. Aaron Taylor Johnson is likable. Uh, oh my god, I'm forgetting the guy who says "Let them fight." Is such a popular actor. I'm forgetting his name. Ken Watanabe. Yeah, like there's a lot of like great like actors in the movie, so I'm like entertained with the human drama, in my opinion. But I kind of went off on a tangent here. But the thing I was trying to say with Batman and Spider Man, if you also look at the Dark Knight, you can count on your fingers just scenes that Batman shows up. And a lot of the thing people complain about is like, first of all, there's not enough Godzilla, and the second thing is Godzilla just shows up and then he disappears. Like he just shows up, roars, and then he leaves. First of all, what the hell is Godzilla supposed to be? Okay? Again, I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to these movies, so bear with me. Spider Man and Batman in costume also just show up. Okay? Like, they just show up because there's a nuisance. There's the bad guy doing bad guy things, so the good guy has to show up. That's what they do. Because in this movie, Godzilla is not framed as this natural disaster monster. He's actually framed as the balancing factor when he senses there's something threatening the balance, threatening the throne, if you will, okay? Which makes him so badass, okay? Not enough people talk about how badass this is, but the fact that Godzilla never harms humans is like a sea creature because he has gills. Think about it. He lives in the sea. He has no business like messing with humans, stomping on their cities. He's not interested in that. He only shows up when something is threatening his throne, which is so cool. That's exactly what a superhero does. Think about a superhero movie. If you think about The Dark Knight Rises, if somebody like Bane didn't show up, do you think Batman would have any reason to actually put on his cowl and get back out there? No. He would never have to come back as Batman. But since there's a threat, he needs to. That's his duty. That's the way Godzilla is framed in this movie. He comes out when he needs to, which makes him so badass in my opinion. That's what I love about this movie. And with that complaint, a lot of people like to say that the Mutos, they do all the damage, and that it's basically a Muto movie and not a Godzilla movie. Okay, I understand this complaint, okay? They're showing the Muto more than Godzilla. And even in the marketing, they framed all the destruction that the Muto does that as that Godzilla did it, which I'll admit that is a snake move by the movie. They shouldn't have done that, but they had to get your ass in the seats, okay? And honestly, it worked for me. Anyways, yeah, the Muto does all the damage. The Muto is doing all the like they're the what's the word? The driving force in the movie that's driving everything. They kill off Bryan Cranston, they destroy everything, they're taking the EMP. Do you see where I'm going with this? If you look at any good movie where there's an antagonist and protagonist, okay? The antagonist is the one doing most of the things in the movie. Okay, I'm gonna make a lot of comparisons to this movie, so just strap in. I keep saying that, but The Dark Knight, take The Dark Knight. Now, I'm not saying that the Muto is like a Joker level, like it's as good as the Joker. That's not what I'm saying. But just look at the principle of the story, okay, the arc, or like the elements that they're using. The antagonist, I hope I'm using antagonist is the bad guy, right? And protagonist is the good guy. Yeah, I think antagonist is always going to be the driving force of the movie, guys. You guys got to understand this. The antagonist, so yeah, so the antagonist, sorry, the antagonist is the thing that is messing stuff up. That's the antagonist. A good movie will always have the antagonist driving the movie. You know what I mean? With the good guy getting an arc and all whatever. Like the Joker. Take the Joker for example. He is the one putting people's lives on the line every day. The one that blows up the hospital. The one that is dealing with the mob. He's the one doing everything. Batman doesn't really. It's not a Batman movie per se. Like it's a Joker movie with Batman just as a side character that shows up to like fight him. That's but everyone loves that movie, but everyone snacks on Godzilla because Godzilla just shows up. I know why people don't like it because people are used to Godzilla being in the movie the whole time, and old time Godzilla fans wanted Godzilla to be in it more. I understand that. But if you just look at this movie through a different lens for a second for what it was trying to do, it does it perfectly, in my opinion. Godzilla just shows up as the good guy, the protagonist that's supposed to face the antagonist. Yes, the Muto did all the damage because the Mutos are the bad guys. They're the bad people here. Okay, not people, but the bad thing in the movie. They're doing all this destruction in the city. They're messing up everything, right? They destroy half the city. They're like, and they're trying to breed, right? They're the bad thing in the movie, not Godzilla. Godzilla is just he comes out as a balance to fight them. So it's not a Muto movie. It's still a Godzilla movie because who is saving the day? Who breathes the atomic breath down the throat of the villain? It's Godzilla, bro. The Mutos do not win in this movie, okay? The Mutos do not kill Godzilla. Godzilla kills the Mutos. No matter how much destruction the Mutos did, even if the Mutos have more screen time, the villains often have more screen time than the good guy. You look at Spider Man 2, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm willing to bet that Doctor Octopus, with his mechanical arms and all, probably has either the same amount of screen time as Spider Man in costume or even more. Which is the good thing. That's good. That's how it should be. Joker definitely has more screen time than Batman in costume. Definitely does. But that's what makes the movie so good because the villain always drives the movies, guys. Not the good guy. This isn't this wasn't a Godzilla solo movie. Okay, this was a villain. There was an antagonist and protagonist in this movie, and they're giant monsters. They don't have feelings. I understand. They're not as complex as Joker or Doctor Octopus. I understand. But that just look at it through that scope, and the movie becomes so much cooler. The movie becomes so much cooler. And in terms of the spectacle thing, the fact that Godzilla doesn't show up that much makes all of his appearances that much more meaningful. I'll say that again. The fact that Godzilla doesn't show up that much makes all of the times when he does that much more impactful. You can like remember in your mind, like it's imprinted in your mind the scenes of Godzilla in this movie. How amazing is that? Like in my opinion, that's amazing. If you can like if every scene of Godzilla is sealed in your mind, that's amazing. If there was too much Godzilla, then like the 25th time that he shows up in a movie, you would be like it would still be cool. To some fans it'll be cool every single time. But to someone like me, I'd get like Godzilla fatigue. I'd be like, okay, like he's cool, but like I've seen this already. It's not as special as the first or second time. And this movie understood that. This movie teased us so well. It showed the tail, it showed the spikes only. It didn't even show the face of Godzilla for so long. So it made that first roar at the airport so much impactful. You know what I mean? Like this movie understood when to show you something and when not to show you something. A lot of people complain like, "Oh my god, they start fighting and the doors closed." I love that. I love that they did that because it made the third act of this movie hit that much harder. Speaking of the third act, people also said that this movie was too dark, and not like like theme wise, but like it fit like literally dark. Like it was you couldn't see what was going on. This is the one complaint that I actually agree with. I agree with this one. It is actually hard to see what the hell is going on in the final fight of this movie. but it's not that bad. I'm just saying, like I could still like know what was happening. It was a bit dark though, but they fixed it in the Blu-ray, right? And it's like the fixed version exists out there, and people fixed it on their own too. I mean, this is a fair complaint. I'll give you guys this one. It is dark. It is too dark to see what's happening. I understand. But with that out of the way, that's not a historical effect. That's not anything. That's like a editing choice that went wrong. Everything else, every other thing people criticize this movie for, I don't understand, to be honest. Not enough Godzilla. I explain why that's a good thing. Like, dude, think about it. Like, think about it. What's a good example where they did this very badly? Like I said, yeah, the Batman 2022. It's cool to see Batman in costume, don't get me wrong. But he's literally Batman the whole movie. Like Bruce Wayne, like Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, he's not in it that much at all. Like the one scene I can remember of him being Bruce Wayne is the funeral scene. That's it. Maybe like a couple other scenes, but like I remember him being Batman mostly, and it's cool. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but I do remember sitting in the theater and being like, "Oh, okay, Batman's here again." And I'll be honest, it wasn't that cool after a while. It wasn't, because he was literally just standing around, just being Batman, and it wasn't that cool after a while. I love that movie, but that choice, I don't like that much. Like if you show the main selling point of your movie, the thing people want to like see too much, then that thing loses its preciousness. Is that a word? It loses its precious quality. The thing that makes Godzilla precious or anything precious is because everyone are fans of it. If you show them too much, if you just give it to them for free, then it's gonna lose its purpose after a while. You know what I mean? It's like the Super Bowl, okay? It happens once a year, and that's why everyone are so excited for it. Or think about the FIFA World Cup. It happens every 4 years. That's why every 4 years it's equally as exciting when it happens because we all know it doesn't happen that often. You know, it's a world championship. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it always hits. It's always exciting. If the FIFA World Cup happened every like I don't know 8 months, do you really think the numbers of it would be that high? It wouldn't be that high because people wouldn't really care after that long. But if you give the fans something in moderation, it makes the appearance of that thing more meaningful. That's the main point I'm trying to drive home. And I haven't even talked about the cinematography or how they display Godzilla in this movie. Let me talk about that for a second, okay? I know this is the one thing that people already like about this movie. That's why I haven't mentioned it that much, but the scope of this movie, bro. Godzilla is like sluggish because of how big he is. Same thing with the Mutos. You can really feel the size. And the CGI in this movie, probably one of the best CGI I've ever seen in any movie. Every monster movie after this point has been ass in CGI. I'm sorry. King of the Monsters was like okay, but after that, King Kong versus Godzilla, it just went off the rails. Like they're like running full speed as if they're like 3 feet tall or something. Like the way they move slowly, and you can see their size, and the perspective is always through a human, so you really see how huge these creatures are. The colors, the CGI, it looks like Godzilla's actually there, bro. It looks like he's dead ass right there. And when you're in the school bus on the bridge scene in Godzilla, and you hear like the children screaming, the absence of music, and like you see Godzilla moving slowly and breaks through the thing. I'm not editing this video, by the way, like cutting in all the things because I do have to. I should be studying for an exam right now, so I don't have time to edit it like that. But I'm assuming you've seen the movie if you're here. That that is so amazing. That's amazing. Like the way this movie is shot, no movie did it like this ever again. And I'm sorry, bro, but when I go to see a movie in the theaters, after I pay my money to see a movie in the theaters, I expect good practical. I expect not only good practical effects, but good computer generated effects as well. Good CGI. I expect good CGI, bro. I expect me to actually believe what's happening there. Because for these 2 and some hours, I want to like shut my brain off and believe that I'm in this world right now. And if something takes me out, then the movie's just not that well made. I'm sorry. That's why The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the CG in that movie is so good. Amazing CG. But Spider-Man No Way Home, the CG was ass. The CG was dog ass, bro. Dog shit, bro. Not dog ass, that's weird. But it was horrible. I'm sorry. A lot of people love that movie, and I also think it's good. It's just good though. But the thing that ruins it is the CG. Like the CG's really bad. And it took me out. Honestly, it took me out. It took me out. And the thing that takes me out of the rest of these MonsterVerse movies, the CG is so bad. They're like running at full speed, jumping over things. It's disappointing. And this movie, Godzilla 2014, got everything right. The CG, the way they move, the physics, the the way they use Godzilla, the way the Mutos were the antagonist, this was a protagonist. The way they portrayed Godzilla was so badass. I genuinely think this is one of the best monster movies ever made. Like I'm dead ass. If Jurassic Park 1993 is over here, Godzilla's like pretty up there. It's not as good as Jurassic Park at all. Don't get me wrong. That movie's like next level. But this movie is a solid, solid, solid attempt. Very solid and is very good. If the human drama, I guess, was just a bit better, this would be one of the best monster movies ever made, I'd say. It already is. This is already one of my favorite movies ever made. Godzilla 2014. This is coming from somebody who didn't wasn't like a massive fan of Godzilla, by the way. Maybe that's another reason this movie appeals to me much more. Because I wasn't like a big fan of Godzilla before this. I wasn't into like Final Wars and all the goofy like movies that came out before it, or even the 1954 original. I wasn't always that into it. So this was kind of like you can kind of refer to this movie as like my first introduction, I guess, to Godzilla. Aside from the Roland Emmerich one, like I will remember watching that as a child and enjoying it, but like I realized growing up that it's not a good representation according to the fans. So I also discard that movie. But Godzilla 2014, to me, I was like, bro, this is insane. This movie was amazing to me, bro. Absolutely amazing to me, bro. I'm sorry, I had to get this off my chest because I don't think I've ever seen anyone like defend this movie properly, bro. Um, yeah, and I just had to make this video. But yeah, surely there's somebody out there that agrees with me. But this movie represented Godzilla perfectly. It made Godzilla the coolest he's ever been. Fight me, bro. But this is the coolest he's ever been. He's like this thing that comes out to like balance, to be the balance. Like, how cool is that, bro? He's literally like a superhero. He's the good guy. I love that about this movie. At the end, when he wakes up after the fight and just walks off, because he's not interested in destroying buildings. I love that. I love everything about this movie, man. Everything was well done. Most things, sorry, not everything. It's not like a perfect A plus 10 out of 10 movie, but it is like an 8 out of 10 for me, like a high 8, mid to high 8. This movie's amazing, bro. And I just wish people would like not dog on it that much. Maybe I'm like tripping and people don't even hate it that much, but the video that I just saw before this, I think it was a movie by or a video by the the Pointless Hub, I think. And he also said it was okay, but I was just like watching it and I kind of got passionate about it and I wanted to record this. But yeah, Godzilla 2014, one of the best movies. Best MonsterVerse. One of the best monster movies. I would say it's the best monster movie. Fight me, bro. Fight me. But this movie hit. It was perfectly shot, perfectly directed, perfectly displayed Godzilla. It made him cool. It made him badass. And it's the most memorable Godzilla's ever been and the most badass Godzilla's ever been. Okay? Fight me. And the Mutos, badass villains as well. Super cool villains. I love them as villains. And yeah, that's everything I had to say. This is so random, and I don't even know why I'm making this, but somebody had to defend this movie. So yeah, later, guys.